Hi guys, Artiar here. So Etheriarestart official just posted a video about Hyper Talk episode 3, and so in this video I'll be breaking down the most important takeaway, like the Q&A they actually reply to us, and also what could actually mean for us as a player. And of course I'll be sharing my own personal opinion on whether if this changes or the Q&A is actually a W or not. So first of all, there's actually a gift code here, so you can make sure you claim the Etheria 30-day gift code in your account. Then the first thing they're gonna answer is how often does the Blessing Galore event run, and are the attempt there gonna be limited? This is actually a very good question, because like everyone want to know when is the double drop rate or when is it gonna happen. And they do mention that so we'll launch one of this event about 2 weeks. They did launch one in the 2 weeks ago, which is the previous one we actually tried. So after the feedback, they'll announce this event, which is a double event, 5 days in advance. So we'll only know if there's actually a double event coming soon before 5 days. So you kind of want to save all the stamina module until the double event comes in. Then we can only fully utilize our module on the grind. So if you just want to grind daily, just use your stamina refill on the gem one, but the module itself, the stabilizer, you keep it for the double event. Then the second thing is the shell, which is revelation in the game can make Freya deals explosive damage, which is actually the revelation. So they did mention that this revelation is actually working intended as long as you build your unit, for example Freya here, to have high crit rate and attack, you're actually able to use revelation. So they're not planning to change anything about it, so it's basically working as intended, so you don't have to worry that it's actually getting a nerf. So for example, you use revelation, and then with Freya you cast S3 with the high crit rate and high attack you build in for your Freya, you will do massive amount of damage or tanks for the revelation. So this is working as intended, it's nothing they're gonna nerf. Then the next one is how often will balance adjust will actually happen, and has anything ever been nerfed? So balance changes will happen based on season. So they did make some changes, but it's mostly for the bug fix, because in the current game progression they only make it to bugs fix. But then the main thing about the balance changes will happen every end of the RTA season. So from now it's season 0, so we won't see any balance changes yet. But for D-Ting, they did mention that they won't nerf D-Ting, at least for this season. Who knows when it is at like season 1 of the new RTA, then probably they'll do some balance patches. Then that time D-Ting might actually get nerfed. They didn't mention that, just that I feel like it's something what they are trying to express. Then the question 4, can equipment be saved separately? How is equipment saved during United Front period? So that for Etheria, equipment updates in its real time for what you have on the character recently. You need to manage these resources and to make sure that your defensive team are running the defensive gear, for example, right? So he did mention that because now is at early game, we're gonna shift around with our module, which is totally normal. But once we progress, then we will have a fixed gear on them to actually put into your Etheria, and then for United Front they will save the preset, that is the problem. That is actually where the problem is. What we wanted, and especially the previous video I mentioned, we want presets. So let's use my defensive team for example, right? So if let's say this is the current team I'm actually using, but out of these 4 units, there's actually 3 units I'll keep on changing around. Like for example, Kazuyu, for now I built this 1 to 6, but probably when I want her to be on defense in arena, probably it's not this slow, right? Probably this 1 to 6 is actually tuned for certain content, like for example Doki Doki, or for example like other like Etheria Rally or Amber Track, probably is something like that. Then Freya here is not going to be 1-3-3-2 speed. If I want to make Freya on my defense, I have a better gear for her, but probably it's not suitable for that gear when I'm using for defense for other PvE content. Why is it so hard to actually ask them to make a preset separately? So I can actually preset just save my whatever defensive formation I have currently equipped on. Then when I progress into PvE, then I don't have to worry about my arena team is currently naked, or they are not using the current gear that I actually wanted to. Based on their answer, what they want to do is, so of course we're gonna move the gear around very often because we are sharing the module, but after that, after we progress more, when we go until end game, then you don't have this issue. But I would say that even until end game, I will still have this issue, is because, for example, Lily and my defensive team, if I'm still using Lily in my defensive team, for Lily herself, I'm actually using in almost every single content. And every single content speed tune for Lily is actually different. For example, certain content Lily want to be fast, certain content Lily wanted to be slow. Then probably in Arena here, I want Lily to be the fastest, then I build Lily very fast. But for certain content, I will switch the gear to slower Lily to synergize with the speed tune, right? Then, which means in my Arena defense here, Lily will no longer be the fastest speed. Why not just give us the Etheria, the defensive team, just make us save the preset? They have the function, they have the skill. This is already implemented in the Union front, which the Union front here can actually help us save the preset here nicely, right? But I don't understand why they don't really want to do that. They can actually just use the same coding from the Union front, which can save our preset, and just apply it to Etheria. But from what they say, it doesn't seem like they are actually planning to do that. Okay, then the question 5 here, what should we do when Union President stay offline too long? This doesn't matter in my opinion, nothing too important. Then the next one, what schedule will Etheria follow for the future banner update? So from what they mentioned, cause currently it's they just launched the game not long, they wanted to push more unit for us to actually progress through our content. So they make the current new unit every 2 weeks, but after that, when the new unit already released, which is like for example Yeli, then they will make it after 3 weeks. So they'll make it a little more frequently, but now we've built up the roster, so they're stabilizing at new banner every 3 weeks. So every 3 weeks we're gonna have one new banner instead of every 2 weeks, which they actually delay the length of the banner date, which is actually pretty good. But yeah, but still nothing too much. Then any new character you can reveal, which is we're gonna have 2 new characters. One is this girl here. Qiu is a holo unit, and this holo unit here, she's basically a healer and also a turn meter pusher. It's pretty good. I saw her kit, is very solid, and I think I'm planning to try to get her because I really need a healer plus turn meter pusher together. And let's take a look at the skill kit here. Okay, so from the official, they built her high HP with Q and Evil Guard for some extra healing effect increase, and then mostly because she can heal, right? Skill preview here. So skill 1 deals damage to single enemy and then increase 2 random ally turn meter by 10%. Then we have Brocat here. Each enemy ends their turn if Qiu does not have Moonlit, then increase her turn meter by 8%. But if she have this buff, then she reduce her turn meter by 8%. So reducing her turn meter here means that she won't consume your turn or don't yoink your time. So as long as she have this buff, then all allies trigger the Moonlit at the end of their turn after being attacked, increase their 12% turn meter and healing by 8% max HP, trigger only once per turn. When Qiu triggers this Moonlit Val, then her turn meter will not be increased. So she will just like, after she get this buff, she can just keep staying slow, keep staying low, so she don't really like take action at all, that while she can still heal and also turn meter push for your ally. But if she don't have this special buff, which is the Moonlit here, if she don't have it, then he'll increase her turn meter, so she'll rotate her skill and let her try to get this Moonlit buff here as fast as possible. Skill 2, Qiu will do 3 hit of damage equal to 10% of her max HP, so it's a max HP scaling to a single target. Every hit here trigger Moonlit Val 1 time for the ally with the lowest max HP, basically turn meter pushing for the lowest HP ally and also healing them as well. So we can see here as 2 that it will heal and also turn meter push the lowest HP ally here, which is basically very good because with turn meter pushing and also heal actually works very well. And then S3 here, Qiu will apply 2 turns of shield equals to 24% of her max HP, so she can build very slow and high max HP, then apply 2 turns of Moon Belt for herself and applies 2 turns of speed up for other allies. So after casting the S3, then she can get this buff, and then with this buff here, then she kind of don't really need to take turn anymore. She'll try to reduce her own turn meter, try to make her slow so she won't get turn, and she'll keep on maintaining the 2 turn of the Moonlit Val, which is actually very good because you kind of want her to stay in this state here as long as possible to maintain the buff. Like let's say Valerian, for example, you kind of want to hook her to always in the bubble mode, right? You don't really want her to get off from the bubble mode, so something like that. So she is going into the Moonlit Well, and then every time the enemy take action, then she'll reduce her own turn meter, and her own turn meter won't get increased, so she can always stay in this mode here while also turn meter pushing your ally and also heal your ally as well, which is actually, I would say, the higher upper version of Valerian in a way. But Valerian have a cheat death mechanic, but for her is healing and turn meter push mechanic, where Valerian is cheat death plus shield mechanic, and also buffing your team randomly with random buff. Then the next one here, we're gonna have Nahor. Then Nahor here is a blue unit that is actually a dispeller. Like to be honest, like if we already have Viper in a way, right? But good thing is, other than Viper is applying attack down and speed down debuff, he actually dispel the enemy and also apply defend down and freeze. So basically you can think of a Viper, but instead of attack down and speed down debuff, is actually doing defend, break, and freeze, something like that. So you can see here in the build here, they actually build him fast and high accuracy. Then in the skill preview S1 here, do 1 damage to one single enemy, and then 40% chance to inflict defend down. So it's nothing too special. Basically it's a defend breaker here. Okay, then for the S2, he will do 280% multiplier to a single enemy, 70% chance to dispel all buff. This is actually pretty OP, and apply 2 turn of block, which will make the enemy, or for example Aurora, for example, will dispel every single buff on Aurora and then apply block, which is actually pretty good to actually fight the current Inferno bosses, because dispel works very well in the Inferno bosses, and not to mention with 2 turn block. So you can prevent them to getting new buff, so they won't able to get the buff benefit and rotate their turn. Okay, dispel every single buff and apply block. This is actually pretty good. Then for the S3 is AoE damage with a 70% chance to apply defend down and a 50% chance to apply freeze. So, but same thing, this is kind of like you can think him as a meal here for the S3, but same thing, there's no dispel. The dispel is only from S2, so it really depends on how his AI works. So if he's let's say in PvP content, enemy have immunity, if his AI is actually smart enough to actually cast S2 to dispel their debuff and then apply defend break, then it will actually be good. Or else this buff here is more, will benefit more towards Doki Doki in my opinion. Like if you don't have claws, then you can go for him to apply defend down and then apply freeze. So it will make your team here very more consistent in the defend break and then control as well, which is pretty good. But I don't think she's really that broken. From the kit here, doesn't seems too broken for now, but the S2 seems very good. S3 I would say is okay, but not really too amazing. I would say the main selling point for him is actually the S2, because you can dispel every single buff is good, and then with defense, with the block here while 2 turn is actually pretty good. Alright, so basically after this introduction of the new enemies, then at the end here, is there any more new game mode? Then is they're gonna release one roguelike game mode if I'm not mistaken, something like this. Dreamscape. It looks like like the roguelike gameplay. So you go through doors and then you fight the current enemy at that room, and then probably you get some extra effect or some extra currency. New game mode, which is actually good, but still the problem is the currency in the game, the economy in the game. Because like for me as a paid player, I have a different perspective, and then my cousin is actually a free-to-play player. He also have a different perspective. So after we're sharing the perspective around, we feel like the game economy is actually too expensive. Like, you know, re-rolling the passive of a shell, you might actually take your whole week grind and re-roll nothing in the shell passive because it's too RNG. And then if you are getting red passive already, you might actually still have a chance to get blue, get purple, which is actually pretty annoying. You waste a lot of the EXP in the passive reroll, which is not really a good thing. And not to mention the module upgrade, the other expenses in the game is actually pretty expensive. Like even I bags refresh every day with the gem, 10 time refresh every day, I still don't feel like the resources is actually enough for me to upgrade stuff. Especially I can just spend my whole day of the shell grinding, and all the currency into the shell passive is just dumping into the water. It doesn't feel good. I would say that what if they can actually make the shell passive to have a guarantee range, like let's say every 10 reroll, then you're gonna get one red passive, which is actually going to be something good to have a base guarantee there instead of just randomly re-rolling, right? So I think there's actually more changes they're gonna do for the game to go longer, because I think most of the player now suffering is the economy of the game. The double drop rate event will be good, but it's more like a first aid in my opinion. Like it's just how they're gonna make the game easier for us to grind, but doesn't mean that the economy in the game doesn't matter. It still have a problem in the game economy, just that the Blessing Killer will make us feel better when the event comes, unless they're gonna run this event pretty often, or else I would still say the economy in this game is still pretty harsh, right? It's still very limited. It's very hard for us to actually upgrade stuff. Like I've been playing for 1 month now, and I don't think I still have the enough resources or economy to actually go towards into PvP content yet, and this is actually a PvP game. Alright, that's all for my thoughts here, but how do you guys think about this hyper talk from the official Etheria restart? What do you guys think about it, and what do you think they actually need to change? Feel free to comment down and let me know as well. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and see you guys in the next one. Bye bye. Special thanks for the direct support on the YouTube membership. So for the benefactor of Artiar, which is SkyElk, Trackcan, thank you so much for your support. And for the supporter or patron of Artiar, which is Louis Nader, Agni, Wang Tamer, Ziggy, Kamaruki, Sunwaltz, Rimu, Chani, Antonio Winterspoon, Rocco Stenzions, thank you so much for your support. And also special thanks to the Super Tanks MVP, HMZ Rings, thank you so much for your support. Special thanks for the direct support on the live stream super chat for the latest tag. Thank you so much for Code Wilderness, Calamity, Agni, Love Fatima, Fatima Little Underwear, Bloods, Riku Fred, Chani. Thank you so much for your support.